When Joel and Molly meet, it is hate at first sight.
Go jump in a lake, meathead.
Despite a number of obstacles, they fall in love. But trying to navigate romantic comedy cliches is never easy.
You know, you're pretty adorable when you get all fussy like that.
In They Came Together.
Hi, I'm Leah, and I'm here with Aaron and Salim, and we're here to discuss the new romantic comedy called They Came Together, starring Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd. We've all just seen it. What did you think?
I loved this movie. I don't see it as much of a rom-com as more of a parody of rom-coms. And it's one of the best parodies that have come out in the past decade. Mainly because all the parodies that we've had are scary movie, disaster movie, basically terrible, terrible parodies. And this really brings it back to the airplanes of the world, or the Naked Guns of the world. It was great.
It was very funny, and it certainly started out that way. But there came a point for me where it was making fun of the romantic comedy genre by taking the tropes and making them so ridiculous and so outrageous that you couldn't help but laugh at how stupid it was. Mm-hmm. But then there came a point where it stopped doing that and it just utilized the tropes, and then it wasn't, you know, self-reflexive anymore. It wasn't a full parody, at least to me.
But see, you see that I had the same problem. I felt like this film, as a romantic comedy, played the conventions of romantic comedy and the subtexts associated with romantic comedy straight. It played them, it just pulled back the curtain and played it all very straight and very obvious. And then it would become derivative. It would have these clips from other well-known romantic comedies, everything from Annie Hall to Jerry Maguire to Sleepless in Seattle, and it would play those, Harry Met Sally, so it would play those, it would be imitating those scenes from those movies directly. So I didn't really know how I was supposed to respond, and consequently, it was being clever, it was winking at you, and it became clever for clever's sake.
Really? How so? Well, Joel's kind of a typical romantic comedy leading man, you know? He's handsome, but in a non-threatening way.
Yeah, I could see that.
Vaguely, but not overtly Jewish.
You're right. Just Jewish enough.
And Molly is the kind of cute, klutzy girl that sometimes will drive you a little bit crazy, but you can't help but fall in love with her.
Guilty.
Okay. It was goofy all the time, and sometimes I just felt like it was too goofy. It was so outrageous that, I mean, not all the jokes landed for me.
See,
there were
I
some
needed
that
it
were
to be
really
more
funny.
outrageous.
But
I needed it to be more. I needed it to
outrageous.
commit to its desire to skewer how flat or uninteresting romantic comedy is.
I thought it
for
did.
a while. I thought it confidently did that. I felt like there are so many tropes that it was dismantling. I thought that all the character archetypes were wonderful. They have scenes where guys are playing basketball and they're basically just calling out the character archetypes as they're talking to each other.
Right.
And I loved all of that. For me, even beyond that, it reminded me of kind of early Simpsons, because it was not just about parodying other genres. It was also parodying comedy itself and how people see comedy and setups of jokes and setups of characters, and how obvious a lot of the times these are in stories and narratives. And I really enjoyed that it was just a skewering of all comedy, of all genres, of everything.
See, I think it just revealed it. When it was very direct, it would just reveal it and say, this is the moment where we're supposed to have an interlude. This is the moment where we're supposed to have brother-to-brother moment.
Yeah, I love that, though.
But then it would just say, this is the moment. And my question to that...
But they didn't play with it, though. It did. It was so ridiculous that was the way it was playing.
But it would be like, and what's your point?
I see it as this is just their opportunity to kind of really have some really fun set pieces and fun jokes, and kind of allow their actors that they have there to do something, you know, interesting and beyond what they usually do.
When the two of them first sit down and have coffee, the majority of that scene is silly, but then they also, like, the ordering of the muffin and stuff was silly, but when they actually sit down and they talk, it's a normal romantic comedy scene, and that's, I think, the problem that we both have, is that if you're gonna go and be like Airplane or The Naked Gun, just do it the whole time.
Well, I mean, it is, but it isn't. I mean, they're watching people walk by, and Paul Rudd's like, you know, voicing other people, and then she tries to do something. Yeah, she goes, I really can't do that. Like, you do that so well. I mean,
let's talk about Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler. Let's
wonderful
talk about
chemistry. Them. Honestly, I like them. However,
I love both of them.
You don't like
Amy Poehler, do you?
I like them both. I didn't sense the chemistry.
No, I get you. I actually wanted to see them in a movie that was more straightforward, not necessarily a parody, because I think that they're great. There's a ton of cameos in this movie.
And they're all amazing.
And every single one of them is wonderful.
Right.
Just so many comedic people, and that probably has a lot to do with writer-director David Wain. He's been in the comedy game for a very long time. You know, he's worked on a lot of Children's Hospital, Wet Hot American Summer, Role Models. I mean, I could list his accomplishments. He understands that you just need to let these funny people do their thing.
They Came Together is a wonderful skewering of the romantic comedy genre and one of the best parodies to come out in over a decade. Definite see it.
They Came Together has a lot of really funny moments, but it has a hard time holding together. So I'm gonna say stream it.
It's not a perfect parody, but I laughed a whole heck of a lot, and the performances are spectacular, so I'm gonna say see it.
Well, our votes add up to 2.5 tickets, which is a see it for They Came Together.
Yes. Cheers. Cheers. You can say that again.
Tell me about it.